briefly introduce the foundation so that we know what brought us together here. So this is Unity in Diversity, and the reason for the name is just simple, because I do believe that we can have some sort of unity even in our diverse cultures. In simple terms, everyone here comes from different parts of the world, and we can all, learn from each other, and there is something that connects each and every one of us. And so I'm glad that you're here, and I'd like for us to feel comfortable and share what unites us and discuss what differentiates us, and then find some sort of beauty in here. Shahira and I worked together on this, and we developed the questions that we wanted to ask. Shahira is from Syria, and I'm from Nigeria, by the way. So I just want her to be able to tell us something to make everyone smile at least. And she will tell us why we're having this here. And after that, we'll do a bit of introduction to get to know who is sitting beside you. Yeah?
Okay, my name is Shahira Sharaf. I am from Syria. I have been here about 2.5 years or this. I want to say for here we offer Arabic and tea, Arabic coffee. We prepare Arabic coffee in this way, and it's very important in our culture. We have like half an hour or 1 hour break coffee because before we start our work. So it's like traditional, but we just prepare very fast and put it here. So you can take Arabic coffee.
احيانا كلنا
مظبوط.
احيانا كلنا مع باكيت بخير كلنا.
ايوه. انا مهتمه بهذا الاندماج اللي هو او العقبات الاجتماعيه الثقافيه وبالتحديد بمجال العمل.
I'm interested in socio-cultural work.
لأنه نحن معظم القادمين الجدد عم يبحثوا عن فرص عمل بعد ما استقروا.
Most newcomers are looking for employment opportunities after they have settled down in the country.
وعادة يعني بيبحثوا عن العمل بس ما بيطلعوا إنه في عقبات ثقافية، اختلافات بين الثقافة اللي هن بينتموا إليها وثقافة المجتمع الدولي.
Usually they're looking for work, but the problem is that we don't just have integrate refugees economically. We also have to integrate them in Dutch society as a people, and we have to overcome barriers like language and culture.
Language, culture, many different barriers. لهالسبب نحن بدنا نركز على الجوانب الثقافية أو الاختلاف الثقافي بين مجتمعين، واحد بينتمي لثقافي وهلا اجى بده يبدأ بعمل جديد فبيواجه عقبات بهاي العمل.
So we're trying to clarify what these differences are between, for example, Dutch socio-cultural differences and Arab or whatever other nationalities you're coming from. These differences are also very important when it comes to elucidating the social and cultural integration.
هلا أي واحد فينا بينتمي للثقافة بدرجة كبيرة أو صغيرة، مو بالضرورة إنه يحمل نفس الثقافة اللي هو جاي منها، بس في أشياء بتكون مشتركة وفي أشياء مختلفة.
So we have similarities when it comes to our cultures, and we also have a lot of differences.
هاي الاختلافات بهاي الحالة ما في شيء اسمه صح وخطأ، وإنما هي بسبب انتماء ثقافي بيختلف من ثقافة إلى أخرى.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with us having differences in our cultures. It's just a matter of getting to know each other and
لما بنعرف التشابهات والاختلافات بنقدر نقرب من بعضنا أكثر.
When we know the similarities and differences between our two cultures, we can get closer together.
واليوم بدنا نحاول ننقل خبرات ناس بدأوا بالعمل أو موجودين ببيئة هولندية يشتغلوا، وناس حابين بدهم يبدأوا عمل جديد، كيف ممكن نتبادل هاي الخبرات.
So today we're going to be talking about people who have already integrated into Dutch society with regards to employment opportunities, and also people who are struggling to enter the workforce in the Netherlands and how this can come about.
ممكن بأي لحظة في مجموعة أسئلة، ممكن بأي لحظة واحد يخطر على باله سؤال بهاي الجلسة، فممكن يسأل الموجودين وممكن يسأل ونتبادل هاي الخبرات.
So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask and let your voice be heard and comment on anything you feel like commenting on.
Thank you very much. So, like I said, everyone should feel free to talk. We've invited Shahira, Sophie, Christina, Alan, okay, and Ahmad to be able to share their experiences with us. So, as you can see, Shahira is from Syria, Sophie is Dutch, Christina is American, he's from Burundi, and he's Syrian. So, it's a good mix. Oh, I'm talking too much now. I totally forgot.
ميركو بس كانت عم تعرف على الاشخاص اللي بيحكوا معنا اليوم وبيحكوا عن حياتهم بهولندا وشغلهم هون، وطبعا انتم سمعتوهم كل واحد ما بعرف كل اسمائهم بس شهيرة صوفي كريستينا أرين أحمد هدول اللي يحكوا اليوم عن تجاربهم بهولندا.
So the idea is they all have different experiences, both here in the Netherlands, where they're from, and the different places they've lived.
تجاربهم مختلفة بس هن كمان يعني تجاربهم جاية من طبعا حياتهم بهولندا وكمان حياتهم يعني مثلا شهيرة اجت من سوريا فيها كمان اخذت خبرتها من سوريا وعم تشتغل هون وتشتغل هون صح؟ على حسب نحكي عن حياتهم.
So just they would be able to talk to us about different things today. I will start by asking them some questions. Please, anybody and everybody can feel free to raise your hand at any time to either ask questions or contribute or share your own experience.
أنا هبلش وأسألهم كم سؤال، فإذا أنتم بس عندكم أسئلة كمان إلهم أو لأي حدا ثاني نحن بحب إنه تتشاركوا معنا.
One important thing, Shahira, the biscuits that she made, the what is it called now? Biscuits, right?
عيد كعك العيد.
بسكوت العيد أو كعك العيد.
It's Syrian, but she added some just strawberries and
Yes, this is for better integration. I mixed between.
so her biscuits are integrated.
Yeah. This is I made from
Attention,
العجيني.
One second.
العجيني. العجيني شو كان اسمه؟
باستا
بس
Okay, alright.
the inside is strawberry, Dutch strawberry, to make the better integration between super lekker.
When I arrived in 2015 in the Netherlands, I got an internship at the International Criminal Court.
بكي أنا وصلت على هولندا بسنة 2015 أخذت internship.
Yes.
تدريب ما بعرف المصطلح كمان بس أخذت internship بالانترناشونال كريمنال كورت.
And on my first day, I was supposed to send an email to my boss.
كنت لازم ابعت ايميل
مديرة رئيسة.
Okay, so I typed the email and I didn't know how to address him. Whether to say, his name was Julian. I didn't know how to say, Dear Julian, or how should I say, Dear Sir. I was just confused because, okay.
انا كنت بدي ابعث له ايميل بس ما عرفت كيف بقدر اوجه له السؤال او كيف
خاطبه
يعني مثلا كيف خاطبه اقول له مثلا استاذ جوليان او بس جوليان بدون استاذ او بدون او مثلا سيد جوليان.
And I sat down, in front of my computer for minutes. I couldn't ask my colleagues because I was too embarrassed to ask them this kind of simple question like, how do you address your boss?
وانا بصراحه خجلت اسال الموظفين اللي كانوا بيشتغلوا معي كيف بقدر اكتب الخطاب او وجه الرساله للمدير.
And I ended up saying, Dear Sir, because that's what we do say in Nigeria when you want to address your boss. And I've lived in Cyprus, and it's also like similar. You have to address your boss by, giving him that respect. So calling him Dear Sir or Dear Man. And that's how I sent my email.
وجهت له الايميل استاذ او سيد جوليان وكتبت الايميل.
I was very formal, like very, very formal. I think even more formal than was needed at that time. And at the end of the day, after a couple of months, I just remembered that email. And I started laughing at myself so hard. Because it was okay to call Julian.
الرسالة كانت كتير رسمية وصراحة أنا ضحكت على حالي بعد ما رسلت الرسالة من كتر ما كانت رسميه، وصراحه لقيت انه ما كان في اللزوم، ما كان في داعي.
This is an example of cultural differences in the place of work. And till tomorrow I tell this story because it seems very little, but it's actually interesting because anytime I saw him after that, when I remember it, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, it was a bit funny, but now I know that it's okay here in the Netherlands to call your boss by their names.
أنا ما كنت عارفان إنه مثلاً هولندا عادي بتحكي للمدير أو المديرة باسمه المضري تحطوا السيد أو السيدة قبل اسم السيد، ما كان في داعي. وصراحة هذا بس نموذج للصعوبات اللي نحن ندخل فيها، بركي ندخل على بلد جديدة ولازم نتعامل مع ثقافات مختلفة.
Okay, so this is my experience, my little experience. There's so much more, but I'm gonna keep it at that, and then I'll start by asking questions to these wonderful people. So, the first question that we have to ask is, what is important to your culture in regards to work or in the workplace, like, or in the school environment? Like, what is very important to you when it comes to culture? When you start working or when you start schooling, both when you're at home, say for example in the Netherlands, or when you're abroad?
أنا بس هبلش ووجه الأسئلة للخمس الأشخاص اللي مشتركين معنا اليوم، أسألهم عن كيف مثلاً يتعاملوا مع الناس بالشغل بثقافتهم.
Any one of you can start.
I'll start. One of the most important things in my culture in the United States is to always be on time.
بالثقافة الأمريكية كتير مهم إنه أنتم مثلاً تيجوا على الشغل على نفس الوقت. على الوقت لو ما تتأخروا على الشغل.
So if my class or if my job expects me to be there at 9 and I come in at 11 with some coffee in my hand and I say, hey boss, how was your day? He's gonna probably fire me because he's gonna say you were supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. Why aren't you here? So it's just very important to be on time and to be ready to do whatever you were supposed to do when you got there.
فإذا مثلاً كان عندي موعد مع المدير على الساعة 9 الصبح، أنا لازم أجي على الوقت، ما لازم أتأخر للساعة 11 ومثلاً أجيب معي قهوة عشان أتأسف فيها. المفروض تيجي على الوقت على الساعة 9 يعني تكون.
Okay. Anyone else wants to?
For me, I would say like in our culture in Burundi, it's more the social aspect of the business. So it doesn't matter being on time. It's how I deal with the client or with my boss. It's really, the socialization part. It's how I behave. The social aspect I can relate to whatever, but if I'm like social, it's fine. So,
And do you mean like friendly social or do you mean respectful social?
it's the whole social thing. It's like if I want to have like an important meeting, I don't have to come in a meeting only just going straight forward on the business. It's just I have just to socialize, to find a nice place where we can, be relaxed, and then spend 1 hour discussing about nothing, and then after come back to the business.
Take note if you're going to Burundi.
بس كان عم يقول الأستاذ إنه يعني إنه تيجي على الوقت مو كتير مهم، مو ضروري. إذا تأخرت شوي عادي، بس الأهم إنه بدك تيجي على الموعد. معاملتك الاجتماعية مع المدير أو مع الموظفين اللي معك هذا المهم بالشغل.
Okay, that's Burundi. Awesome. Now we know Burundi. Okay, anyone else? Okay, go ahead.
I think for the Netherlands, but correct me if I'm wrong because there are more Dutch people here, but I think for us in the Netherlands it's quite important to have a clear and open communication, no? So that you can, for example, if there is any deadlines or whatsoever, if there is any reason that you cannot meet these deadlines, just talk about it. So you go to your boss, you explain what is the problem, you be open, you are open, transparent, and then you can find together to a solution. So it's very much appreciated if you are just straightforward and just tell what is going on. Then you can solve issues together. But if you try to hide or try to whatever and you do not communicate, then it is really confusing and it's not appreciated at all.
Yes, that's very much true. I think it's very Dutch. Even in Belgium, it's already less like that. In Belgium, it's already more like social and going for dinner or lunch or taking the time to socialize. In the Netherlands, we're very, very straight and direct. we are considered rude sometimes even so.
I know what she means. Yeah, I've asked that question before.
بالمجتمع الهولندي أهم شيء بالمعاملات بالشغل إنه تكون صريح، فإذا ما بتقدر تكفي موعدك أو لازم تسلم، إذا مثلا عندك مشروع لازم تسلمه، لازم تحكي للمدير وتفهمه إنه أو تفهم المديرة إنه ما بتقدر تسلم المشروع على الموعد، ويعني هذا أهم شيء، بس خليكم صريحين مع الموظفين والمدير والمديرة.
I totally agree. It's very interesting that both of them are saying this because once when we had a stereotype workshop, so it was an evening where everyone had to talk about stereotypes. What do you think about other people's culture? Someone asked me, why is it that in every Nigerian movie there's always killing of people, for example? And then I asked the question, I say, why is it that most of the times Dutch people appear rude? That was what I asked. So that's interesting. And they told me they prefer to be straightforward, and for them that's polite. So I do agree with what both of you have said, and that's a very important thing.
I'll translate this part. سألت هي إنه ليش دائما بالأفلام النيجيرية بيكون دائما في مقاطع لأشخاص عم يقتلوا بعض. بنفس الوقت هي سألت إنه بهولندا ليش كتير يعني بيحس الواحد بالفظاظة أو بالوقاحة أحيانا اللي هي بالواقع هي موضوع الحكي مباشرة بدون مجاملة يعني أو بدون لف ودوران. فهذا الأمر هو مجرد ثقافة، وحتى بهولندا يعتبر الحكي المباشر نوع من الاحترام بعكس ما أحيانا بثقافات ثانية يعتبر.
Thank you so much. Anyone else want to weigh in on that?
نحن عكس الثقافة الأمريكية كمان السوريين يصلحوا لي. نحن إذا بنعمل موعد عادي جدا نتأخر نص ساعة أو أكثر عن المواعيد.
نظرية إن شاء الله.
هاي فكرة إن شاء الله هي فيها تسويف لكل شيء.
طبعا.
So
there is a phrase in Arabic we call inshallah. Inshallah it means if God will.
Yeah.
But this means we delay everything. If God will, we make this. This is very common in Arabic culture.
Yeah, you can be late half an hour, you can be late an hour, it's okay. Just copy this. She disagrees.
Some foreign people I know that when they were working in Dubai, if they are delay of something, they will say in Arabic, inshallah. There is some
Yeah, because and the thing is when you deal with foreign people, we are on time. When we deal with ourselves, when we deal with Arab people, we come late, right?
Yeah. Most of our is that.
School, university, or at university, it's not the same. You have to be on time and you have to be.
Not all, but most of probably of the people are like that. They will be delayed.
Because we put the transportation is difficult. There is traffic jam.
They will have excuses.
God will.
Now I know why Americans are very stressed out compared to other cultures. So.
Okay. Kinga, you disagree with something. You want to share what you disagree with then?
No, I said in Syria maybe between friends and between family it's okay. Maybe I told her after half hour I will come back in university, or if I have appointment, very important appointment, I have to be on time, or exam. That's it.
It doesn't always work to be on time. It's said being on time is important, but it doesn't always work. So
This is what I mean.
Not most of probably.
You have to be, but you don't make it.
Okay, all right. Okay.
I think we are talking here about different cultures.
Yeah.
And what exactly? Maybe most of the people here they are focusing about the Dutch culture or Dutch behaviors inside the society. This is most important for the people. Maybe there's a lot of experience. I respect all the experience they will have it, but I think we have to focus in this about how we will be a part of the society, of Dutch society. There will be get good result, not of just thinking about other societies.
Okay.
I think so.
No, I totally agree with you. But then here's the thing. For example, Christina understands better now why she says Americans get frustrated with other cultures. So every other person who is there, perhaps Sophie and the rest of them who are Dutch, can understand better how to deal with other people, maybe who are from Syria or Burundi or Nigeria. And that's why we are reviewing these different cultural differences.
I said before, even if someone belongs to this culture, that doesn't mean that he holds all the culture thing. For example, I never late for my appointment, so this doesn't mean that I am not Syria. I am, but I respect the dates. So we don't have to take it like you are Syrian, you always come late.
Yeah.
So
I think it's helpful because this is the first time I've heard of this. I'm very surprised because I think also I'm from the United States, but I've also worked in the Netherlands since 2014, and so I think it's the same culture. Maybe you disagree, but if I were even here, were to go into my job late, I'd be, why are you 30 minutes late? Whereas if I have a coworker or a colleague who comes in late, and he or she is not from the Netherlands or from the United States, and then I ask, for example, you come in late, and then you say, well, it's normal. What's wrong with you? So it gives me more of an understanding of the people that I work with, but I can also understand what you were saying too.
Yeah.
So
Because in the end, Sophie is also sharing what's important to the Dutch culture, and everyone else here who they've also shared what's important to Dutch culture. So we get to all. The main thing is for us to understand in dealing with ourselves. You get to put a little bit of perspective to it. So now I know that when a Dutch person talks to me in a straightforward way, I don't get offended. I don't feel like they're being rude because I feel like they are in their way being polite and telling me what it is. Anyone else want to share anything before we go over to the next thing? Everyone okay?
Maybe Christine, because I worked with KPN, and KPN time was an problem because I was like 10 o'clock at work, 11 o'clock at work, 2 o'clock at work, because we work at home mostly. So it doesn't matter really. It depends on your job really.
But you can be late. If you're in the Netherlands, you can be late.
You can be late, it's not a problem.
No, but it
But I
is
think
all about
that's the
what is the
exception.
agreement that you make.
Yeah.
If you
What
agree
you
that
said-
you
what
have
you said-
flexible working hours, then okay.
No, but what you said, we had deadlines. So they don't care, the deadline is Monday, they don't care if you're working Sunday the whole day. So you're really free really. So you can, it doesn't care how late you come in, no one looks at you or like that, how long you work.
But is that normal? Is that the
It depends on your job
that's
really,
the
because I was the
exception.
manager of.
This is about the policy inside the firm.
I mean, for her, it's not
Yeah.
about the deliverables. It's not about being late on time.
I think what it is
Yeah.
important
There's
that
an
there
open
is
wall
clear
to-
agreements. No, if you agree that it is okay to have flexible working hours,
Yeah.
you can do flexible working hours. If there is a deadline, you have to meet the deadline. If there is
Correct.
any issues why you are not able to meet the deadline,
Then you
these have to be
communicate.
discussed.
That's
No?
correct.
And still,
there's
if you
open
have meetings
communication.
planned, then you should be on the meeting.
Yeah, of
time.
course.
Yeah.
Okay.
فإذا في تسليم مثلا المفروض إنه الفرد يلتزم بالتسليم، إلا إذا مثلا هن حكوا مع بعض أو الموظف حكى مع المدير واتفقوا على شيء مختلف. غير هيك الالتزام بالمواعيد كثير مهم أو مثلا بالتسليم.
Okay. All right. So the next question. I mean, like I said, this is just so that we can encourage discussion. If you have any question, any experience you want to share, stop me at any time. Okay? I'll stop anyone who's talking. Just raise your hands. So the next one is so in a company or in any institution, there might be some sort of working culture that exists. So how do you prepare yourself to fit into that culture, especially given your own cultural differences? Like if I come, say I'm working at Leiden University and this, whether written or unwritten, what culture to it, and I come from a culture that is totally different from that. What would you give someone as an advice to prepare themselves to fit into the culture without losing themselves? I don't know if you guys understand what I just asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we're not talking about integration. It's all about that. So for me, like it's not about the company. We like the organization, me fitting in the company. It's me fitting in the company, but not the company accepting me. So you see the difference. So if you want to work in a company, you have to follow the culture of that company. So that's what you agree upon. So what you need to do is first to learn the culture of the company you're studying, and then try to learn as much as you can about the company so it's fitting. So because the company will never wait for you to fit. So it's for you to fit within the organization.
Do you want to help to translate for us?
Yeah.
Do you understand it first?
Yeah, but yeah.
In summary.
So
Ahmad, do you wanna interview?
No, please continue and
no, I mean, a company has a culture. So when you want to work for a company, you need to know the culture of the company, and then it's for you to fit in the culture, not the company to
Adjust.
to adapt to yourself.
هو بيعني انه انت الثقافي انت بدك تتناسب مع ثقافه الشركه او مش العكس، فانت اللي بدك تعرف ثقافتها مشان انت تتناسب بمعنى اندماج من جانب واحد.
بدك تتماشى مع
يعني انت اللي بدك توفق حسب ثقافتهم.
Everyone understand?
But I think it's right because if I work with, for example, a company who as a Chinese company is different than KPN really. So I think it's right because you have to see how the company work really, and then adjust yourself to the company really. Because in Holland there's a lot. I talk with a lot of companies and it's different.
I think maybe something you have to fit yourself with this company.
Yeah.
Something you don't have to. It depends on what's the kind of work. I mean.
Okay.
I think. Sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. I'll come back to Sophia.
No, this is also the main idea about the people who came to this society or for the new society, the newcomer here in Netherlands. They think that they have to understand what they are doing. You came to them, not they came to you.
Exactly.
So this is the main thing you have to understand it, that you came to Netherlands, not Netherlands people came to you. So you have to understand how their culture, their beliefs, their dealing, they are using everything, the words, the way they are speaking, the way they are dealing. This kind of differences, it has to be focusing on for the newcomer here in Netherlands. This is what I'm saying. I think I agree with them about the culture.
Okay. I'll come to you still. Yes, no problem. Sophie. After Sophie and then you.
So I think two things. First of all, before you start a new job, you have a job interview, Norman? So in the job interview, this is an opportunity for you to discuss, no? And also to be very clear about the expectations. So what is the expectations of the companies? What are your expectations? And you can see if this fits. So this is the first opportunity where you meet each other and where you can get a kind of feeling if this is something that you are able to, where you can work. And the other thing again is the open and clear communication. Once you start in a new company or whatever kind of organization, if you have any doubts or if you feel not confident, or if you are not comfortable with some kind of issues going on, or you do not really understand, you go to your boss or to your colleague and you just ask. You say, okay, this is how I feel. What can I understand? What can I do? What is your advice? So this is, I think, opportunities both before starting, during the job interview, and then when you are already in this position, you always can ask.
And I think in Holland, discussion doesn't mean it's a quarrel.
Oh, okay.
I think that's very important because what she said is correct. Because if something is on your mind, you can say it. But mostly, what I see in foreign country, they see it like a quarrel. That means how do you say that?
A challenging.
No, we have some problems, so it will go on for years. But in Holland, it doesn't work. We have like a goal, and then we say, okay, guys, we go together, or we will try to achieve the goal.
Okay, I do understand. Just 1 second, so she can translate in summary. You understand what Sophie said, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, كانت عم تحكي صوفيا عن مثلا إذا في مقابلة بين
عفوا هي حكت انه باي عمل انت في مقابله بدك تعملها، اثناء المقابله بيتم معرفه يعني من خلال هي المقابله بيعرف الاشياء الثقافيه، فهي نصحت انه ممكن واحد يسال البوس تبعه يعني المسؤول انه هي المساله انا كيف ممكن اعملها، يعني بمعنى انه يتم معرفة هاي الاختلافات وحلها قبل ما انه يبدا الواحد عمل.
So on a lighter mode, it practically it can be akin to wanting to date someone and you're going out on dates to see, like, or you have your date to see if it's gonna work or not.
But I think it's important, if we go back to what Michael asked in the original question, was how do you also not lose yourself? And I think this is very important because, as you were saying, you said that you come to the Netherlands, you adapt to the culture. That's true. But I also think that there's something to be said about not losing your culture and keeping on to that. And because, and this is through research, diversity shows that if your company is diverse, you have all of these ideas, you bring such a wealth to the company, you have much more to contribute, so please don't remember, don't
I agree with that, but when you are going for work experience or inside any firm, you have to get your positive things inside that and get from that. There's a kind of space between you and the company and the culture. So you have to be melting in the culture, not you have to reflect your culture. That's not the difference.
No,
it's not meaning that you will throw your culture behind yourself. It's in your heart, in your minds, and everything. In your behavior, it has to be. But when you are working in any company, you have to be a part of this company, not about yourself, at least. It will be kind of mixing.
I do, yes, it is a sort of a mixing, but I think, because you said you melt into the culture, I think that that's true to an extent, but I think it's also healthy for you to say, why do we do this?
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, you know what, because we've been doing it forever. And then you just say, but I don't understand. They say, you know what, you're right, I don't understand either. So it's good to incorporate or to integrate into that culture, but always just don't be afraid to just question why things are done the way that they are.
كيف مثلا إذا بدكم تتأقلموا كيف بدكم تشتغلوا بشركة المفروض إنه تتأقلموا مع الشركة وتتعودوا على ثقافة الشركة والمسؤوليات اللي انتم عندكم يعني كموظفين. بس كلنا كانت عم تحكي عن كيف يعني اذا انت جاي او انت جاي من بلد مختلفه كمان انت لازم لا تخسري ثقافتك او لا تخسري حالك، يعني انت كمان عضو مهم بالشركه لانه انت مختلفه عن باقي
Just before you add, maybe Nasari is to Arabic.
حاول قدر الإمكان. I try to translate as much as I can.
بالنسبة لصار بدي أحكي عن شغلات فلسفية اختصاصا. أنا بدي أحكي بشغلة أشمل شوي، ثقافة يعني اختلاف الثقافات طبيعي. في ثقافة نحن بنحضر منها كشرق، شئنا بدينا نعترف بها ثقافة استبداد، ثقافة الرعية، الحاكم يتعمم ذلك على العمل واحترام العمل. لا شك أن احترام الوقت قيمة العمل قيمة مقدسة، لكن لماذا لا نحترم الوقت؟ سبب يعني تهافت العمل، تفاوت الحافز بين البشر، ينعكس ذلك على المسؤول السياسي، على الدولة، على القطاع الخاص، على الشركات الخاصة. شيء طبيعي هون ثقافة حرية. ممكن البعض يحتاج ثقافة دولة مواطنة بمعنى مساواة حقوق وواجبات. هاي الفكرة الأساسية اختلاف بين الثقافتين.
خليها ترجمة مشان ما تطول لأنه كثير فكرة منيحة. يا ترانسليت
Okay, so
very important.
هي أنت وأنا برجع.
Yeah. ضيفي لي عادي. So if I understood correctly, he was talking about how we come from a different culture, specifically the Middle Eastern culture. We have certain things that we are accustomed to because of our governments, such as oppression. And dictatorship. Sorry, authoritarian dictatorships. Definitely authoritarian. Yeah, dictatorial. And يعني بس ما فهمت عليك الفرق بين يعني مثلا نحن مختلفين عنهم بس شو
يعني احترامنا للعمل، ليش نحن لا نحترم العمل؟ بمعنى لا نحترم الوقت.
When it comes to Nigeria, in the sense that when your boss asks you to do something, not everywhere in Nigeria, but people are also advanced now, but sometimes you just have to do it. You don't have to question. Okay, it's all about saying yes sir and you go and you get it done. Just like Sophie was saying, discuss, keep an open communication. That's the work culture in the Netherlands and probably in other Western world. But at least I know in Nigeria, and now from what I'm hearing in Syria, it's not always like that. So you were asking what this has to do with this whole thing. I think it's about understanding that maybe the whole political situation also has some sort of influence on how people work. And coming here in the Netherlands, you need to realize that you're now in a society that respects your voice. You can ask your boss questions and feel comfortable to discuss your work and whatever you're doing. And at least I had that when I was working with people. I don't know if I managed to put it all together for everyone.
But I think you cannot throw everything on the society side. You have a part of the society. You have to offer what you have. You have maybe a lot of opportunity to go here or there, or to do this or not to do this. Maybe there is some difficulties you will face it. I know, I understand it, especially for serious situations or some others. But it's not just to throw that the society is bad, so I will be bad. And the society will be late, my boss will be late, I will be late. It's not a kind of meaning.
No, I
So
don't
it's
think that's what
your situation, because I'm working in different firms, in Syria and outside in Syria, but also I think there's something you can do it in the society. You are a part of that, you have to do it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
We're all saying the same thing. That's the funny thing, like, or at least we're coming together because you're saying that this shouldn't be an excuse to not, that's the thing. So she's explaining because then people also get to understand better. In case something happens at work, I can say, oh, maybe this is affecting this. Doesn't mean that that should be an excuse to always be like that. But we're saying in general, feel comfortable to talk to your boss about different things. I mean, when it has to do with your task anyway. I think that's just like the summary. And Ahmad, the same thing also?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I just wanted to comment about having a work experience here in the Netherlands. Feeling this flexibility at work and being open to your boss or having this kind of friendly relationship with the boss without any barriers between the both of you makes everything goes smooth. You don't have to think twice about or many times before saying anything. You feel like you can present yourself as you are. You can even be more productive at work when you feel that you are appreciated, your ideas and your thoughts are being heard. This kind of thing that I personally didn't experience before because it was one-way relation. It wasn't two ways between the employee and the employer. So yeah, it was only that's it.
Thank you.
Doing things.
Do you want to help to translate before we move over to the? I'll come to you too. Do you want to translate? Okay, quick. Okay, what he just Ahmad, why don't you help us say it in Arabic so that they can also understand?
الفكرة اللي كنت عم أقولها إنه من خلال خبرة يعني من خلال تجربتي بالشغل بمنظمة هولندية، الفكرة هي إنه العلاقة بين الموظف وبين رئيس الشغل أو المدير مختلفة تماما لما نحكي عن التعبير عن آراء مثلا أو أفكار جديدة. لما يكون موظف عنده أفكار جديدة فهو قادر يعبر قادر يحكي الأفكار الجديدة اللي عنده إياها بدون ما يفكر مرة ومرتين وثلاثة أو يعيد حساباته إنه عمل غلط أو إنه ممكن يأثر على شغله بالمستقبل. بالعكس هو رح يصير منتج أكثر لما يعرف إنه الأفكار أيا كانت الأفكار اللي عم يقولها مسموعة بالنسبة للإدارة أو بالنسبة لل يعني السلطات الهرم الإداري يعني تمام. فهو لما يشوف إنه هذا الأمر مسموع، لما أفكاره مسموعة هو رح يكون منتج أكثر، رح يكون مبدع أكثر ورح يحب الشغل اللي عم يشتغل فيه أكثر.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna let Alan speak and then I'll come back to you. Thank you.
So what I wanted to say is also like something before you land a job, because you know that there is like also interviews, there is also communications. Before you land the job, you also need to do it like the Dutch way as well. Like, how do you prepare your CV? How do you make your CV look great? But when you go for the interviews, you need to know how to interact with your interviewers. Like that one. For instance, my experience is that, you know, when I'm coming from Burundi, we are not used to fix people in the eye. So this is like a cultural difference. So then, when you go for an interview, you know, with the Dutch, you, as a Burundian, I would just, you know.
Me too.
Yeah. And then it will be like a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
Huh? So then we need also like those kind of signs. Like,
Or it's almost in politeness.
yeah,
It
exactly.
seems,
So then these are also the things that you need to know before you even land the job. So.
Thank you. That's super awesome. Yes, please, because it's all about the same thing. I'm just gonna comment too because I don't like looking at people straight up in the eye. And ever since I came here, I was told you need to look at people in the eye. So it makes me feel shy, like just looking at you, you know? Because back at home, you don't do that. Even with your parents, you don't just look them in the eye and talk. So at times I just look away, or I just, in my mind, I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking at you. So that's the truth. Okay, go ahead.
كان عم يحكي الأستاذ عن أهمية قبل ما مثلا تروح على المقابلة المفروض تفهم عن الثقافة الهولندية وطريقة المعاملة مع المدير أو مدير الشغل. فمثلا خصوصا كانت عم تحكي ميركو وكان عم يحكي ألين عن إنه ما تقدر تطلع بعيون المدير، لازم يعني مثلا تطلع برات الشباك أو تطلع على الأرض لأنه بثقافتهم هي تعتبر قلة أدب أو تحدي للمدير. تمام. يعني بس هون طبعا إذا أنت ما عم تطلع على المدير ما عم تطلع بعيونه هي بتعتبر قلة احترام وكمان ضعف من ناحية الموظف.
And I think the handshake too, right? Because I was told that you have to be firm when you're shaking. Like, I mean, and yeah, like sometimes when someone shakes me, I'm like, yeah, just take it easy. But apparently, you need to be firm, like to know that okay, I have confidence. But back at home, nobody told me all of these things. Just even telling my boss, no, this is how we greet back home. Like for where he's from, actually, we greet like this. Like that's a sign of respect. You don't start shaking your elders. You have to bend to greet and all that. So
حتى المصافحة مثلا إذا أنا بدي أسلم على ميركو يعني هي عم تحكي عن
لازم تكون المصافحة بقوة
بقوة
يعني تشد على اليد مش هيك حتى تعطي قوة وثقة إنه الشخص عنده ثقة بنفسه. هي ما أنا هيك اللي عندنا بثقافتنا.
حتى بثقافتنا نحن ما عندنا هالشيء. مثلا
مو هلا بثقافتنا بتختلف. In our culture it's different. Some people shaking hands, some people never. Some people like لا like a bit.
What is important here, right? So that's the main thing. Eye contact, the handshake is very important in the Dutch culture. So keep that in mind. Okay, so I remember, I know you're going to talk.
Yeah, please, I want to give the audience some space.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what you were saying on your working relationship, that in general, in the Netherlands, there's no hidden agenda normally. There can be, but usually there's no hidden agenda. So if somebody says something, you don't have to think of something he or she is keeping behind.
Maybe she means.
Yeah, exactly. She's saying this, but actually it's that. Usually we just say that.
Can you then, in case you don't know, can you then ask them to clarify, just so you don't think maybe like she said?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
That's all about the open communication. It's just what you say. That's what you see is what you get. What people say, that is
what it means.
Yeah,
it's
that's
actually good to verify. Is this? I understand that you are saying this. Is that correct? And you can have them confirm that actually.
عم تحكي إنه الناس كثير صريحين لدرجة إنه مثلا إذا عم تحكي مع المدير ما في معنى تاني لكلامه، ما في إنه مثلا ما في رشوة، ما في أي
ما في مذهب التقية.
Small comment. I still remember a situation where I kept thinking about what the other guy said, and is it like how I interpreted, or is it correct how I think about it? Is it? So I didn't realize at the beginning that he just meant what he said. I kept thinking and trying to find,
Okay. Ami wanted to say something. You can speak in Arabic and she can translate.
Yes.
عربي أسلم. أنا بترجم للإنجليزي.
Julia can translate.
Ja, ik zou graag iets tegen jullie willen zeggen, maar een beetje verder dan dat onderwerp. En ik zal kortom proberen. De overheid in Nederland werkt voor alle bewoners en voor de mensen in Nederland. Maar in mijn land, Syrië, hebben echt volgens mij de dictator een slechte mens in de wereld. Nooit. Ja, volgens mij, dat is mijn mening.
Ja.
En alle bewoners in Syrië werkt alleen voor de familie. Alleen voor hem. Syrië is een heel rijk land. Syrië heeft echt slimme mensen. Syrië heeft heel grote bedrijven. Maar de overheid wil alleen de mensen hier en familie Bashar al-Assad boven. Dus ik woonde in Nederland 23 jaar. Ik heb nooit mijn mening tegen mijn familie gezegd. Want de mensen zijn bang van de moeder. Misschien de moeder kan het horen. Van de Hitan. En de Hitan te
moeder, ja. Van moeder?
Ja.
Van moeder, dat.
En volgens mij is...
we think, sorry.
Go ahead. We hebben zieke mensen. Ik ben in Damascus geboren en mijn vader ook, maar mijn opa was in Palestijn geboren. Maar ik woonde 23 jaar in Syrië, ik heb geen document, ik heb geen paspoort. Ik woonde 23 jaar als asielzoeker en ik heb heel goede vrienden en familie en werk en geld en auto, alles. Het was echt een heel goed leven. Maar toen ik daar was, moest ik in Syrië blijven, want mijn nationaliteit is Palestijn. Maar ook mag niet, toen ik daar was, mocht ik niet naar Palestijn gaan. En mag niet naar buiten Syrië gaan. Alleen naar Libanon, Beirut. Ik moet naar de overheid en stichting. Alleen een week. Maar geen werk, geen vrienden, geen vakantie, geen... Maar moest ik naar leger gaan. Dus ja, maar voor... ja, ik moest. En ja, maar voor heel veel vluchtelingen hebben alles in zijn kant. Hun leven, alles kwijt, geld, familie, vader, zus, hun familie nog daar blijven. En voordat, deze voor jullie, een beetje bijzonder voor jullie. Met alle respect tegen jullie, voor jullie gevoel in jullie land. En de vluchtelingen, voordat de oorlog kwam naar Syrië, niemand komt uit Syrië, ging naar andere land reizen of zo. Maar door echt de oorlog, de nieuws in Nederland of in Europa of in Amerika, of wat jij wilt, dus echt 10% van de waarheid, 10%. En ik denk, een paar mensen hier uit Syrië, ze weten wat mijn gevoel. En veel mensen hebben echt een hele slechte situatie of misschien meegemaakt. Dank jullie wel.
Ja, dank je. Heel goed.
Heel goed.
Jullie ook.
Everyone understood?
No,
yeah, so can you help?
Yeah. Shall I
summarize?
hit me if I'm wrong, okay?
Yeah.
Straight.
Nothing.
No. What he said is that he's from Palestine. He lived 23 years in Syria, in Damascus. But since the political situation in Syria is just with Meshnuni Assad, just one, how you call?
Dictator.
Just one dictator, yeah, suppressing the people. A lot of people lived unfree to speak and to act the way they wanted, right?
Yeah.
So they were afraid that the walls were having ears and being afraid of Assad and the family of Assad, right?
Yeah.
And So since you were from Palestine, you were not able to, you were a asylum seeker for 23 years, you didn't have any documents, couldn't travel, couldn't visit other countries, couldn't visit families. Just Lebanon?
Just Lebanon.
Beirut.
Beirut.
Just Beirut, and come back for 1 week.
Yeah, this is we can say that this is from the Palestinian in all the countries, not just Syrians, because I am also Syrian, so I think this is Palestinian everywhere in that country.
All Syrians were not allowed to travel.
Also when you came here, you mentioned as a status, so there was no
Yeah, of
mention
course.
as nationality. So this is not specific because you are Palestinian Syrian. So everything. This is what I'm just saying.
Yeah. But there's just, for me, the main thing I heard was that there's just too much fear to live free, right? And that what we know and what we see in the news is just 10% of the truth.
From both sides.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. But ever since he's been here then, has he been able to just try to adapt since this society is open? Is he managing to adapt into the culture?
Are you managing to adapt to the culture?
ظبط معك انه تتأقلم مع الثقافة هون؟
Yeah.
That's good. No, it isn't. Okay. So do you want to get? Okay, so it isn't a political meeting we're hearing, but remember this is supposed to be open. So people are sharing what they feel impact their experience or their reactions in the society or actions actually. So that's why it's okay for them to share. What might affect me, what might make me behave different in the Netherlands might be different from what will make you behave in a certain way. So that's why maybe for some people, they've lived in a suppressed society and now they're finding it difficult to welcome this openness that the Dutch culture presents. So they are expressing themselves that this is what affects them. So it's for us to understand that this has some sort of effect on them, but they're trying. And for us to also find a way to help them to get better at being able to integrate. So it isn't a political meeting, but it's an open meeting for everyone to share.
The thing is not political meeting, but political system can interfere in everything when it's a dictator. So like I am 46 years old. I haven't known any president either Al-Assad family in my life. So you can imagine that he just grow my mind and he make everything in my life. So it's not political, but the political system interfere in your thinking, in your mind, and this is our life.
This is how you were raised.
Exactly. Just maybe 2 generations only from Assad regime presidents. So you can imagine this.
Kinder, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something because I want to comment. We are not, we are modern, we have modern life in Syria, we have everything, we have Android, we have laptop, we have everything. We have university, we have all kind of modern life. That's not, I don't speak about politics, I want to speak about our life. And we have, like here, normal life. But after the war, it changed. That's it what I want to say.
No, but when I said some people haven't used
Palestinians
Android,
also, they live with us. And
yeah, I know. But you have to know, there's lots of people haven't used Android phone or internet in their
just like in Nigeria too. There are people who really are in the villages.
My friend also, she's from Damascus, and we have a normal life in Syria. I don't know.
I have normal life also.
It's true, yeah.
There is lots of things here,
You are the most refugee. I don't have a good English.
Speaking Arabic,
but we are all educated, almost in Syria educated. We go to university. I have master, also my friend also, and I don't understand. We are all right, and also the Palestinian, I think, right?
Maybe you can explain what I'm trying to say. I do understand everyone's point. This is the funny thing. I do understand.
The picture is not so sad,
It's not so. I get you. That's the truth.
It depends about the village or.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I have channels who have Al-Assad of any member from Al-Assad family, I will have a chance on to just to chance.
I don't
sorry.
speak about politics, please. I
No,
speak
no,
about the
you
life.
say
They speak about the
everything,
life. And I was teacher in university,
Sorry,
and
yeah.
I
No,
go
we
to
have-
school.
we
I
have-
go
we
back
have-
somewhere.
we have
Okay.
doctors there and other people. We have more civilization.
Civilization.
Yes, that's it. I speak about civilization. I
The
don't-
situation in Syria under the dictatorial regime system, yeah? That's
I think I understand what you want to say. The how the political system influenced the way of living. How it influenced the structure of the society. So how also the mentality of people, how they interact between each other, and how do they interpret things. How do they behave at work, at home, at everyday life? So it's connected, and there is a connection between the political system and the way people live in a society. So of course, and this is actually why I wanted to mention this from the beginning. Personally, I think most important thing that in a society where people have freedom, all kind of freedom, especially freedom of speech, it changed a lot of things.
Of course.
Beginning at home and not ending at work. So I think freedom of speech, freedom in general, freedom of speech is a very important factor that changed the way people think and behave in a society.
Yeah, I do really agree. I'm going to come to you, and he would go first also. Here's the thing, right? So I do know that, when I discovered that Shahira has taught in the university before, Shahira was also a professor before, right? So I discovered from research that Syria is very civilized. Like, she was the one who told me, by the way, that Aleppo alone is bigger than the Netherlands. I didn't know this fact. So the truth is, yes, we do know that Syria is civilized. Even in Nigeria also, like, there are lots of people who've never used a phone before. I do understand that. Well, it's a civilized country too. But what they're trying to say at the end of the day, and we will have other activities where we would explore the beauty of our culture. But what we're trying to say here is that certain things affect people's way of life, and other people can adapt quicker. Some people, no matter how long it takes to put them down, they can find a way to bounce back up when they find the opportunity. But other people, it takes them longer to, find a way to say, okay, am I able to speak freely now? I think that's just what they're saying. It's a civilized society, quite all right. But maybe the freedom of speech and the relationship between the people in authority and the people down here isn't the same as in the Netherlands, right?
Yeah.
Did I get it right? Okay.
And I also experienced that some Syrian people who know now that they are okay in a country that respects freedom of speech, that we have the right to speak now, to express ourselves. They, to some extent, they misunderstand the concept of freedom of speech or freedom in general. They don't know what are the boundaries of freedom, or what are the to what extent can we use this right. So because of the absence of that right in Syria now, it's a bit difficult. Okay, we have this right, but we're not used to practice it. So
it's just written in the constitution.
Yeah.
We have this experience in this way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I think that.
I'm gonna come. Just yes, I'm watching actually. Yes, exactly. I need to allow him to speak because he's been waiting patiently for a while. So,
Okay, thank you. For my question, I think Allah and Christina will help me. First, as I told you, I'm from Congo, Democratic, a country which is politically and socially broken.
Not the diamonds.
Okay, but still we are poor. Then I'm from Congo, and the country is broken politically and socially, and this has impact especially on the way we are living here. It affects us in a foreign country. So, I would like to ask, or maybe we comment, Alain and Christina, you have been working for quite long with the refugees in terms of integration on the job market, and both you are from outside Netherlands. So what is your main or general perception in terms of refugee integration in the job market?
Advices.
Yes, your general perception or view about the refugees integration in the Dutch labor market. Because we are from different countries, we are from different cultures and different political systems. When we come to foreign countries, it's different to integrate, especially for the refugees or migrants in general. And you have been working for 3 years to integrate, help them finding jobs. And what is the most important things that refugees should do to integrate and to find their way in given that our past culture has an influence, an impact on today's socialization.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
Yeah. So for me, I wouldn't say there is any difference between a refugee and then any normal citizen. So for me, once you are here, it's just to know what you want. And then if you define yourself in that moment to know where you want to go, to identify your opportunities, and then to look at your strength, and then forget your weaknesses. So why do I say that? For me, like for my personal experience, for instance, my background was into entrepreneurship, microfinance, and investment in Africa. So what I did is to look for organizations and companies working in that field. I will not go to ING, I will not go to companies that don't have like, that are not looking for my knowledge and experience. So then for me, my focus is on the companies that need my skills. Then that's what I do. And then it's all driven by my passion and then my dream. I see myself in 10 years. I have a picture of myself in 10 years. That's what I'm following. So and then for me, it doesn't go down to refugees. It goes down to myself, why I'm here, and then what am I supposed to do, and how can I get there.
Translate in summary.
عم نحكي انه ما بتفهم يعني مو كثير مهم انه الانسان يكون لاجئ او مو لاجئ، المهم انه تعرف شو بدك من الشغل ويكون عندك
هو مركز بشكل اساسي عفوا معلش بيقول انه ما في فرق بين لاجئ او مهاجر. تركيزه الاساسي على انه شو الشركه اللي هو حابب يشتغل فيها اللي بتوافق طموحاته، فهو بيروح على هذا المكان اللي بيوافق طموحاته.
Can I ask a question then? Because I know, for example, Musaf was also a bank manager, and now he's here. Sometimes I've heard a lot of refugees say, I used to work in this job or that job back home, and now I find myself maybe doing something like cleaning. I'm not able to get the same type of job. So in your case, you didn't come as a refugee. I don't know, I never asked.
Well, I was lucky to come as a student. I got a scholarship, and then so for me, the idea is not how you come. It's all about in the Netherlands. I think you correct me if I'm wrong. It's all about networking. It's to build up a network, and then if you are passionate about banking and stuff, look at events that are related to what you like, and then attend those events. Try to mingle with people. Try to connect with people. And then build a network. That's how it works.
اوكي الشغل انه بغض النظر شو الشغل وانما هو او كيف الطريقه اللي اجى فيها انا بعرضه فيها. I'm not agree with him with the different way. الفكره انه هو بيشوف الشركه اللي بيهتم فيها فبيشوف شو طبعا له علاقه كمان بالنتوركينج اللي هي العلاقات يعني بين اللي بتوصلوا بهي الشركه، وبعدين بيشوف النشاطات اللي بتصير بهاي الشركه بينضم لهي النشاطات ومن خلال هاي النشاطات بيقدر يبني علاقات مع مجال عمل.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll go. This is a very important question to me. I think this is probably one of the reasons why a lot of you are here. So I hope that we can dedicate more time to this question later. But I'll give you just a brief summary of my thoughts on this. First, I will say is just to highlight what Alan said is just to highlight your skills. Every single one of you has skills that are needed in the workplace. Every single one of you. Identify those skills. Match them to vacancies. highlight everything that you think you can contribute. That's number one. Number two, use the social network skills, the program. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, follow it. But you have to, even if you didn't use them back home, these are key. You have to start learning these, how to get, expand your network through them. Number three, I would say don't give up. I know that a lot of you come here as doctors and even lawyers, and now you're being offered jobs to work in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can understand how disheartening that could be and how discouraged you could be. But I will say just don't give up. You may have to start from a different place from what you were used to back home, but just keep working every day. Find, like you said, have a goal, and even if it's daily, it's weekly, it's monthly, have a goal and track it and expand your network. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. I think if you do that, you do all those steps, I think that, you'll make it.
Especially for the educated jobs, LinkedIn in the Netherlands has, I think, the most people on LinkedIn worldwide. So LinkedIn is very important.
Yeah, but I
Maybe
a very small comment. I agree with what Christina said. I live here since 2014, June, so only 3 years. I had a goal. I knew what I want to do. So I'm in my second year at university, and at the same time I'm already employed for 2 years now. So it's very possible to achieve what you aim to if you believe in what you want to do and in which level you want yourself in a few years ahead. So.
Can you translate that in Arabic also, because there are people who don't speak English?
Okay, I want to translate.
Okay,
In summary, كريستينا حكت 3 شغلات أساسية نركز عليها. رقم 1 إنه شو مهاراتك، شو الخبرات اللي أنت عندك. هاي يعني بمعنى تتبع المهارات، إنه شو الفرص العمل المتاحة. رقم 2 هي النتورك، لأنه كتير مهمة، كمان لازم إنه توسعها. ونمبر 3
Never give up.
Never give up. أبدا ما تستسلموا، خليكم متواصلين.
About the last point, just about Christina, she was saying about that. Give up, don't give up.
Don't give up. أبدا
I understand. Don't give up, but you cannot give up and you will be at retired age. So, that's the point. The main policy of dealing with the refugee. The main dealing here with the refugee or the newcomer here in Netherlands is there is one policy they are dealing with it.
Yeah.
There's you are educated the same like you are not. You are blah blah blah. You are not the same. You are in one standard, one level. So they are not dealing that with guy who has experience to deal or education or anything or skill. She said you can focus in. So they will not focus it. They are dealing with you as a refugee. You got this and you will get that. You have a lot of options here to do, but you don't have. Sometimes you don't have that time. Like me, I am 45 years old. I don't have that much time to be an employee in a bank as an accountant, not a manager. I don't care about managing or something, but I don't work in the same firm I'm working on, accounting or banking or whatever. Okay. So if I research from that and if I mix it and never give up, I will be 49 or 47.
I think an important point too in the working place is speak Dutch. Try to speak Dutch or learn Dutch.
That's the first step. That's the first step you have to do it. That's the first step you have to do it. And in the same side, the organization is caring about the refugee. They have to focus about this to push you to get the language.
Yeah.
Not to take you, you have to work here or there or that. Focus about your language, do it, finish it. After that, you will get a new job, whatever it will be. The job, it will be acceptable for you and suitable for them. This is what exactly they have to focus. But they are making or creating something to you. They will come and tell you, you have to work in the second half shop for 4 days or 5 times. And blah blah blah, and working here and taking intensive course here, and in the morning you have to go in the school, your school. So you have a full day, full week to work. Just focus about the language. After that, you throw him in the work office, work section, let's say, and after that you will get the result from this guy. Nobody wants just to sleep and sit at home and getting a little of money to be alive. Nobody is going on that. Everybody wants to, especially who has an experience or education. I don't learn about 18 years to throw it behind me, and I come here just sitting and see that the cars is going and coming back. I want to be a part of this society, but help me to be in the part. If this policies or organization is not helping you, so how you will be in? I don't have time for all the life to not give up. This is what it is.
Well, I think what you're saying is that, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? I think, you can, and I think first of all, because I hear a lot of you say, I'm a refugee. Guys, drop that. That's a label that you're putting on yourself, and I think you're identifying yourself and you're restricting yourself. I think it starts there. You guys are humans. You guys are people. You guys have skills and so much to offer. So it's easy to say, well, I'm a newcomer, I'm a refugee, and that's why I'm not getting hired. You know what? That very well may be. That could be. I mean, I could say the same thing about myself from the United States. I'm Mexican American. I dropped out of high school when I was 15. Had my first son by the time I was 16. I was on welfare benefits, all of that. But you know what? I didn't give up. I went back to school. I got a full-time job. I'm an international lawyer. I'm living in the Netherlands. And it's because of that I didn't give up, and I was a hard worker, and I refused to say, you know what? I dropped out of school when I was 15, and that's why I'm that's why I'm not getting hired. You guys can't do that. You guys have to see beyond that. Know your worth, know your value, and then capture that and funnel it to what you guys want to be, what you want to do, is what I would say.
Thank you very much. Ahmad, I really want you to put some sort of perspective.
No, me, I wanted to say something as well. Equally, people who don't find a job opportunity, you can create your own jobs. You can create your own company, like in the Netherlands. Entrepreneurship is a way to go. So I'm happy to discuss about that into more details. So this is another option. So you want to look for a job.
By the way, you want to translate that? Yes, just 1 second, because I still remember people who want to talk. Khalid, herself, and Jide, and then Peter. But please, we're going to be rounding up, so 1 second. Translate what he just said. Because he said if you can't find a job, create one yourself. Entrepreneurship is the way to go. And he said you can come and talk about it later on after.
مثلا اذا ما في فرص شغل الانسان اذا انتم بدكم تلاقوا فرص شغل مو ضروري تلاقوا فرص شغل تقدروا تطلعوا شغل من عندكم ومثلا تاسسوا شركه او يعني في كثير فرص عمل بس يعني انتم كمان لازم
كل خلاق.
And please, I'd like for both of you to talk because this is also into microfinances, so I'm already connecting with you now. Okay, so the next person, no, 1 second, I'm going to come to you. Khalid really wanted to talk before, so you can talk and then she can translate.
أكيد بدي أحكي عن الموضوع السابق عن احترام الوقت ويكون جزء من العمل، فكنا عم نحكي إنه ناس تحترم الوقت وناس لا، فالشخص اللي راح يكون ملتزم في العمل أو محترم الوقت لما يكون بسوريا راح يكون نفس الشيء، لما يجي لهون راح يكون نفس الشيء. ففي كثير اشخاص هون سوريين ما راح يحترموا ولا الوقت ولا العمل، ونفس الشيء لما كان في سوريا بيكون نفس الشيء. فانا لما كنت مدرس في المدرسه كان احيانا مثلا المدير فيه بيغيب او ما بيجي متاخر، فانا ماني مضطر انه اغيب او اتاخر، فلما اكون انا مخلص الشغل راح اكون مخلص الشغل بغض النظر عن المدير او اي شخص ثاني.
So when I'm dedicated, what he was saying is that when I'm dedicated to my work, I'm going to be dedicated to my work, and I'm going to be punctual regardless of my location. So if I'm dedicated in Syria, I'm going to be dedicated to the Netherlands. If I wasn't dedicated in Syria, I'm probably not going to be dedicated to the Netherlands either, and it's all about the person.
That's a nice point. Can we just give him Okay. All right. So please go ahead.
Oh no, it's post thing.
You can still say it anyway. Just say what you don't mind.
Okay. I was still in the subject of being equal to your job or to your boss, or being a upside down relationship. And I just wanted to tell this typical example of me and my boss last week. I wanted to quit my job, and I went to my boss And she said, "Oh, Julia, please, I need a hug. Give me a hug." So I was like, "Okay." So I gave her a hug, and she said, "Yeah, the business is in big trouble, and I need you so much." And I was like, "Okay." I was gonna quit my job, Inge. I said, "Oh, okay. Please don't." And I was like, "Okay, I don't." Because I feel responsible, we are equal, so if she needs me, then we fight together to make the company straight again or going upwards again. So this is super Dutch that the boss is very equal and the company is not hers, but the company is ours, So this is,
It's not even in work, it's even in, I experienced this in university, even the students with their teachers are like friends.
Yes, exactly.
You can communicate them whenever you want, what kind of, it doesn't matter what kind of question. Anytime, just send them an email or make an appointment.
They're taking lunch together.
Which is not very
attended
common.
course in Ufa,
Yeah.
and the professor take the lunch with the student. And sometimes in Damascus University, students, if they talk to professors, they didn't reply to them.
Yeah,
they say hello, they say sometimes they go.
It's not a common thing to
It's not a common
have
at all in
the
Syria to
professor or the
contact
teacher sitting
professors
with you on
with,
the same table or
Hey, you were a
something like that.
professor before. What do you have to say about that? I don't know. Sometimes professor like he's superior than the okay. And you too, right? But you also thought. How did you handle that back in Syria?
Yeah, I haven't been as a professor in Damascus University. I have been as a lecturer.
Okay, all right.
So it's different, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
America, if you look at the medical branch, you see there is boss. It doesn't work like that. It's also just like Syria. The doctor is the boss, or the surgeon.
Yeah, also I have a lecturer in university, but also the doctors and the lecturers, they stay alone because,
You're right.
because
Also in Holland.
the generation changes.
My wife is a medical. So,
Sometimes it depends on the person himself. Some of professors can contact with the students, but some of them are very informal.
Can I ask Sophia a question that I'll ask her in Dutch way? Heb je ervaring met wat zij zegt eigenlijk? Zij wil niet in een slachtoffersrol. Je merkt dat heel van die andere landen al zich willen relateren aan politieke onderdrukking en blablabla. Maar zij wil eigenlijk vooruit gaan, merk ik. Dus zij, heb jij ervaring daarmee in jouw werk? Weet je, kan je iets over zeggen?
Maybe we want to translate the question.
You want
Maybe we want to translate.
1 second, guys. Can you translate? Do you want us to hear what you
I think the question that you ask is how do we feel if newcomers are more in the role of refugees and like victims of their situation, or we feel that, and I think most important is that you see some, indeed, as you say, self-esteem, that people trust, that people know what they are worth, like what do they have to offer, and that they feel self-confident. So that's why we look each other in the eyes, that's why we give firm handshakes, because we feel we are looking for people that are responsible, that stand strong, that we can build on and that we can work together with. So this is a shared responsibility, as my sister is saying. Like working together requires that people are in a responsible position and that they feel strong, that they feel confident. So indeed, if you put this label of a refugee, it doesn't help you that much. But if you present yourself as the person that you are, you trust yourself, you are open in your communication, and you know, and we know that you are like a responsible person, then of course there is a better match, because you are in an equal position and you can do the job together.
You
So
share
I
the
think
responsibility.
you share the responsibility, you can do the job together. So I think that's very important. Yes.
Great. Okay, super. All right, so yes, that was you. I'm not missing anybody. Okay.
Okay, so I'm supposed to be part of this actually. I'm not just the cameraman. Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't introduce myself. So I'm Nigerian. I've been here 1 month and say 20 days. So what I just wanted to say in relation to this question and to they have been here. So though I've been coming here for the past 2 years, but officially I'm 1 year 20 days or thereabouts here. So I think one thing that is very important is continuing to develop your skills. especially if you are coming from a country that is not as developed as where you are going. Say, take IT for example, software development programming. Say back in Africa, the best you use is say Fortran, which was maybe used last year, 50 years ago. There's now nobody who will give you a job because the skills you have is not relevant and things are changing very rapidly. The truth about the workplace today is that it's not really about back in the days where you start a job and then maybe it's the job you do for 60 years to retire. The workplace is getting very dynamic and skills, as much as people are saying there are no jobs, employers are saying we need people to fill these skills because the demands are changing every day. So I think if you have the required skill, if you are from the Arctic or from the Sahara Desert and you are here, you get it ahead of someone that was born in the Dutch palace and bred with the Dutch bread and butter and everything. So for example, there's a global general data protection that some EU regulation that companies need to do now. If I have the skill and companies are looking for people that can do it for them, if I have the skill and I can get a way to let the companies know that I can do this, I will be ahead, definitely, ahead of any other person once they don't have the skill. So the idea of skill, I think, is very, very important. It might take time, and if you have a skill, you have it. You can either get employed, you can use it to do stuff on your own. So for my own case now, back in Nigeria, I was into business management. I worked on some brands and things like that, and marketing. So coming here now, I might not, in the perspective of local market knowledge, it might be a disadvantage to me. But when it comes to things like digital, a lot of things are going digital now. It's a level playing ground. So if I have the skill and another person that knows the local, the edge is bridged, and that gives me a better chance. So I just want to emphasize the importance of, you see your line, what skills are relevant now, what skills are important, how do you get into it and build those skills, and it gives you a better edge to compete.
Developing your skills continuously.
طالما عندك مهارات انت تلاقي الشغل. طبعا لازم تشتغل ولازم يعني
تطور مهاراتك.
لازم تطور مهاراتك بطريقه بتنفع الموظف المدير.
الساعة الأخرية مواهبك أو مهاراتك بما يتوافق مع سوق العمل الموجود.
تمام. فهذا الفكرة اللي عم بحكيها إنه طبعا إذا أنت عندك مهارات أكيد بتلاقي شغل. مرات تاخذ شوية وقت بس
بدك
تعمل
اللي عندك واللي موجود في سوق العمل.
All right. Well, we can go forward.
Can I make one remark? I think if you're in the right branch also, because ICT is where we're looking for people. For example, my friend needs like 60 programmers at the moment, so if you can program, so you have a job for you.
Okay. I did it back in days. Maybe I'll pick it up again.
All right. So,
Neneka, do you have any comments?
I was just going to go to that point that we're going to be rounding up to let people make last comments because we have about 4 minutes to finish. I would sit down here and go on, but because we said 7:30, and of course, whatever that we didn't say here, you can go downstairs and continue to discuss. But I just want to give the floor to maybe like 3 people in the audience, apart from them, who have any. If you have any comment, just raise your hand and quickly make your comment or question or contribution. Anybody? Do you want to translate also because anyone who doesn't speak English? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think because I'm from Malaysia and this kind of talk is very useful because we have a lot of refugees coming to Malaysia and they are waiting to be resettled to America. And the problem now is that a lot of NGOs in Malaysia, they are giving refugees a skill, like telling them what to do, and then getting them into a certain workplace in Malaysia. So like, we're going to train you all to be chefs, and then we'll ask you to cook, blah, blah. And I realize now that like, when they get resettled, they have to again redevelop new skills. And so we shouldn't be teaching them a skill, but teach them how to equip a skill. And this is useful information to go back home. So thank you.
Can you please translate?
كذا بتحكي عن بانه بماليزيا مثلا في كثير لاجئين بيجوا على البلد وفي كثير منظمات تحاول تعلم هدول اللاجئين مهارات معينه بس عم تقول انه هي في مشكله بالموضوع لانه اذا تعلمون مهارات بس ما تعلمون كيفيه اكتساب هدول المهارات، لكن هيكون في مشكله بركي مثلا بينقلوا من ماليزيا على امريكا.
Okay, all right. Someone else? Yes, please.
Sorry we came in late. I couldn't find this place, but I was just trying to say something about the refugees I worked with in Uganda who had come from Sudan and from Rwanda and Congo. And one of the things that we told them to do was to reintegrate themselves in the system of Uganda by using their hands to do things, even if they could not go to school, but to do things that were income-generating. And they came up with a very successful project of doing briquettes, which they were using for cooking in the refugee camps, as well as supplying them to the supermarkets. Eventually, they became better, made better money than the Ugandans themselves who were there. So there is nothing you cannot do as a refugee. You can go beyond the sky.
Thank you. That's super awesome. Anyone else who wants to make a final comment before? Yes.
I'm just gonna because we're wrapping up. That's a big idea. So I have an organization called She Matters. That's a new organization, but the goal is to empower refugee and migrant women. Sorry, using that label, but and to do that through we're running a pilot program to connect to jobs. So if any of you are interested, please let me know, and I'd be happy to come tell you more about it.
Who wants to translate that?
كريستينا كانت عم تحكي عن منظمتها She Matters بالانجليزي هي مهمة، وكمان طبعا بتقول التفاصيل بالبروشور اللي عندكم اياها because the information is also provided in the brochure in Arabic. So فمثلا إذا أنتم مهتمين تقدروا تحكوا معها أو تتواصلوا معها وتحاول تلاقي لكم فرص عمل أو تقدروا تشتركوا معها بالبايلوت بروجرام برنامج خاص لمساعدة النساء اللاجئات ينضموا للمجتمع خصوصي specifically economic no?
Yeah. Economic yes.
Yeah, economic yeah. مشان ينضموا
تمكين المرأة.
تمكين المرأة.
Okay.
So
yes, please.
So I'm involved in an initiative called the Refugee Talent Hub. Maybe some of you have heard about it. So it's an initiative from a lot of employers in the Netherlands who said we see this as an opportunity. There's people coming to the Netherlands and they have skills and we have jobs. So it's a platform to hopefully make that match. There's also people offered who can be a mentor. So you can be matched with someone who can mentor you, can actually tell you all about working in the Netherlands and what it's like, and help you with a network. And so yeah, I just wanted to mention that as well. And then I really I agree. It's you might not always find immediately what's your level or what's your background, but I think just getting in there and starting to work, and even if it's work experience, we had a few Syrian engineers who started in my company for free, hardly or almost for free. They got some travel allowance, but now they're on a contract and they actually are on a salary. So I think just grab any opportunity, because I think it is about, as it has been said here as well, it is about a network. So once you're in somewhere, you will learn, or you will get to know Dutch people, or not only Dutch people, but people who work here, who have a job, and it goes from there. So, but that has been said as well. Yeah.
Because it's important also.
May I translate and I want to comment? Yes. Sorry. نميكا بمبادرة هي اسمها Refugee Talent Hub، اللي هي مبادرة كفاءات أو مهارات اللاجئين. هي كمان بتعمل شيء من الماتشنج أو هيك شيء، وهي عم بتقول إنه هاي النتوركينج مهمة جدا جدا بهولندا لأجل الحصول على فرصة عمل. هلا اللي بدي اضيفه انا انه انا لي هون تقريبا 2.5 هلا هي ممكن انت ترجعي تترجميها على الانجليزي فركزي اوكي، بس انا حبيت احكيها بالعربي لانه هي مهمه للعرب يعني اكثر. الي تقريبا 2.5 انا من سنه ببحث عن عمل. اول شيء عندنا نحن كان موضوع بسوريا عندنا شيء اسمه واسطه الواحد يشتغل. هلا هون هي تقريبا نفس الشيء بس بسموها نتورك، بمعنى انه انت ممكن تحصل على فرصه عمل من خلال واحد لواحد فيها فأنا نصيحتي إنه ما تفوتوا أي نشاط ممكن أي فيها بتروحوا، لأنه هو هذا الحدا ممكن يوصلكم بحدا، أو هو ممكن فيها يوصلكم بحدا تاني وتحصلوا على شيء. فأنا يعني من سنة بس now it come to be fruitful, right? I hope so.
So she was saying that.
يعني حطيت أول رجل.
Okay. So Shahida was saying that she's been in the Netherlands for 2.5 years and she's been looking for a job for about a year now. And the thing is that one of the reasons why a lot of people get jobs in the Middle East is because we have something called wasta, which means you know someone who knows someone. But it's the same thing in the Netherlands, it's just called networking. So she was advising the Arabs here specifically to think of it in that perspective. So if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone, that might be your ticket to actually getting a job. And that was just her kernel of advice.
I told them don't miss any activity.
Yes. Okay, let's go. So, well, thank you guys so much. I wish we could continue, but because we need to keep to time, we'll have to be bringing it to a close here. And I want to thank every one of you. It was such a wonderful time. We still have more questions, but we would have to do this again. The idea is to have this twice every month, and we would not only talk about the workplace and the school, but we talk about different things like family, relationships with your co-workers, or even dating someone who is out, who's not from your country, and stuff like that. So follow us on Facebook, especially on Twitter, Instagram, and keep an eye out on what we're doing, because there are lots of things that we haven't said that we want to say. And I just want to ask two people to please just in like maybe a minute tell us what you had in mind before you came, and what you think about this now, and then what you would like, what you would have loved to see, rather. So what you had in mind before you came, what you discovered, and what you would have loved to see. What is going on with me today? So many words, what? Okay, so just two people, so that we will be able to improve better in this integration chat room project. Anybody can volunteer. Yes, you can translate.
ميركو كانت عم تقول انه بس هي اول جلسه عملناها عن السوسيو كولتشرال انتجريشن، اندماج المجتمع الهولندي، الاندماج الثقافي والاجتماعي، وهنحاول نكرر الاجتماع والتجربه مرتين بالشهر. وهلا عم تسال شخصين بهالغرفه قاعدين بدهم يتبرعوا ويحكوا عن افكارهم.
شو كانت فكرتهم قبل ما يجوا؟ شو مفهومهم؟ وشو حابين هني بجلسات قادمة إذا عملنا نشاطات من هالنمط؟ شو حابين يعرفوا أكثر أو بهذا الموضوع الاندماج الثقافي الاجتماعي؟ شو الأفكار اللي ممكن تخطر لهم؟
Please, very quickly, just any two volunteers, please, to be better, and what we did well.
I thought the energy is great. I mean, I was a bit late. I'm really sorry about that. Even though I'm Dutch, I was late. But it was great. I came up the stairs and I heard lots of energy in the room, and then everyone's very passionate and lots of drive in the room. So that was great. No improvement points.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you. Anyone else then? One more person? Mr. Chair? Okay. Well then, in that, just please go down, have enough food. We have Fataya Sabana. Okay, we do have Fataya Muhammara, and she made it for us. Let's just give a round of applause for Shahira. She did a lot of things. And I made coconut rice, and I made some butter biscuits, by the way, and there's just lots of food. Go down, please. Don't go until we're done eating the food. Please. Thank you very much.
Don't miss the food.